I'm Chef Erica Wides. I'm here visiting the Chef's Garden today to introduce you to our new seasonal salad selections box. This box is a great combination of this really vibrant green crispy spinach and these, which are garlic shoots. Garlic shoots are young garlic. When the garlic first comes up in the spring, it sends out this really nice green shoot. And when you get a garlic shoot, it's like you're getting two things in one. You get the nice garlic bulb plus the green shoot. It's kind of like a scallion, but it tastes more like garlic. What we're going to do today is make something called a Catalan-Style Spinach, which is a spinach dish from the Catalan region of Spain, where Barcelona is. First thing we need to do, though, is wash the spinach. Even though these come in nice and beautiful and clean, we always want to make sure we wash the spinach. Again, spinach really likes to hold on to its dirt. So what we need to do is pull off the little base, just separate the leaves, and give them a really good bath. The spinach should float free in a big tub full of cold water. It's really crinkly and has all these little crevices, and there's always a little bit of dirt hiding in there. And this spinach is great raw. You can make a salad out of it, and it's also great cooked. We're going to cook it today, but I'm really just going to wilt it. That's all you want to do with spinach, is wilt it down. You don't want to overcook it. You want it to really keep its vibrancy and keep it really green and crisp and fresh. So the spinach is in the water here. You want to really kind of swish it around in there. Give it a good bath. You know, it's sort of like washing a dog. You want to really make sure you get all that dirt off. And give it a really nice, good float in there. And that looks good. And the more water you use, the better. Just really let it float around in there. Once you have the spinach washed, we're going to take it out. And then you want to spin it dry. If you don't have a salad spinner, that's okay too. Put it in a pillowcase and swing the pillowcase around over your head. That's how they used to do salad spinning before they invented the salad spinner. So we're going to transfer it to the spinner and give that a good spin. Because we're sauteing this spinach, it's okay that there's a little bit of moisture left on it. That little bit of moisture, step on the brakes. That little bit of moisture is going to help to wilt the spinach down as it cooks. If you're going to eat it raw, you want to make sure it's really, really dry, because if you put a dressing on wet greens, the dressing tends to just slip off. The next thing we need to do is to prep the garlic shoots. Remember, the garlic shoots have two parts to them. They have the bulb and they have the green. So what we're going to do is separate them. Once you have your garlic shoots rinsed off, just give them a little dry. You can just roll them up in a towel, pat them dry like that. Because we're going to be sauteing, of course, you want them to be dry so they don't splatter in the pan. If you're going to use them raw, you can just give them a little patting. It's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take these garlic shoots and I want to trim off the roots. Separate the shoots from the bulbs. Now it's just like regular garlic, but remember, it's young garlic. It's very tender. It's not as fiery hot. And we're going to just slice this garlic up nice and thin. With the shoots, I'm going to just cut them down into about 1-inch pieces, just like this. It's just like the way you'd use a scallion or a spring onion, but it's a little more garlicky. And as you get up here, it becomes almost more like a chive. And just the whole thing. What's great about these vegetables, too, is they're so fresh that there's very little trimming and very little waste. I don't have to cut off any dead ends from these because they're so nice and fresh and green. I can use the whole thing. Okay, so now what I want to do is keep these separate because we're going to saute the garlic bulbs for a little bit longer than the shoots because the bulbs are a little bit more dense. So now everything's prepped and we're going to start cooking. So the first thing we want to do is heat up a large saute pan. You need to have enough room for all of that spinach because it seems like a lot, but as it cooks, remember, spinach really wilts down. But we want to start out with enough space. We're going to put some olive oil in there. Because this is a dish from Spain, we're cooking with olive oil. We're going to put in our olive oil, and now I'm adding those sliced up garlic bulbs. And what we want to do now with the garlic is give it some time to get soft, let it get sweet. We want to kind of take the edge off of it. This garlic's very young and green and fresh, so it doesn't have that really hard garlic edge, but you want to just let it soften up, get some of the sugars going, get some color on it. We're not looking for a really dark brown, but we do want to get it just softened up. And you'll know too, as soon as it starts to get really fragrant, you'll know your garlic's getting there. And just give yourself a little garlic facial like that. Let it get nice and soft. So now the garlic is how we want it. It's just got a little bit of color on it. It's getting really fragrant. It smells great. Into this, we're going to add, of course, the garlic shoots and the spinach. And now just give that all a good toss. You want to make sure as you're tossing that you're picking up the garlic too from the bottom of the pan, so it gets really well distributed in the spinach. Okay, now you can see how the spinach is starting to wilt. It's starting to cook down a little bit. Add a little bit of kosher salt. And the salt will not only season it, but it'll also draw moisture out of the spinach and help it start to wilt down. And remember, this spinach is, you know, it's as fresh as it can be. It was really just picked within the last 24 hours, so we don't want to do too much to it. We don't want to cook it too much. That's really where we want to take it, just so it's beginning to wilt. Just like that. Okay, now into here we're going to also add the raisins that have been softened up in a little bit of white wine. You want to get the raisins soft in the wine. It kind of re-plumps them up, it hydrates them a little bit, and the wine's also going to add some nice acidity to the dish. It's also going to add just a little bit of moisture, and that'll help to take the spinach down a little bit further, just make it a little bit softer. The raisins add a great counterpoint to the garlic. It's a very classic Spanish combination to use raisins with garlic, and then we're also at the end going to add a little sherry vinegar, and that'll balance the whole thing out really nicely too. There'll be a great sweet and sour kind of effect to the dish. You can really see now my spinach is wilted, and that's where we want to take it. And also, there's no more steam coming off, which means the wine has completely evaporated. So that looks perfect. And now I'm adding some chickpeas. These are just canned chickpeas that have been drained and rinsed, and these are going in also. This also adds a really nice Mediterranean touch to it, and it also makes this a dish that could be served as an entree, as a vegetarian entree. You could serve it with some polenta or just with some bread and cheese. It also makes a great side dish. Chickpeas are already cooked because they're from the can, so you just warm those up, toss them around, let them pick up a little bit of that olive oil flavor, pick up some of the sweetness from the raisins, just like that. And then our last thing is a little drizzle of sherry vinegar, the classic vinegar of Spain. It adds a really nice caramelly, nutty, sweet and sour flavor to the dish, and we just add that in right at the end. You don't want to let the vinegar cook for very long. You just want to add it in and shut off the heat. Okay, drop more salt, but remember that your beans have salt in the can, so be careful about adding too much. And a little fresh black pepper right at the end. I love to always grind my pepper fresh. And that's it. And from here, I'm going to transfer it to a platter and serve it up. This will serve about 4 people as a side dish. We can garnish it with a couple of extra garlic shoots, but it really just stands on its own. And there we go. Here's our finished dish. I hope you'll try this at home. This is our seasonal salad selections box, Catalan-Style Spinach with chickpeas, and I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you another time.